Hello, farmers, and welcome to the harvest season. My name is Al, and you've just got me this week. Today, I'm going to go through a bunch of news because, let's be honest, there's so much news right now. I've got multiple pages of news here, right? I don't think really we're going to go into a meaty topic in this episode, mainly because it's just me and also because there's loads of news anyway. So we'll talk loads of news. But first of all, I have been playing a lot of Mario again. I think I mentioned that in the last episode. But I'm currently on Mario Galaxy. I have played through all of the ones before that. And yeah, Mario Galaxy is an interesting game. I both like and dislike it in multiple ways. And I'm sure I'll talk about that in a future episode. But my word, it's quite something. And I think that's really all I've been playing. I've played multiple Mario games all the way through, but I'm spending so much time playing those games that I've really not played anything else. But there's a lot to play, so hopefully I'll play some other games before the next episode. So I'm going to talk about some news now. First of all, I've got a number of updated release dates. Mostly that is just my nice way of saying delayed games. So the first one is Village Monsters. Unfortunately, things have slowed down a little bit due to, well, many reasons on Village Monsters. And so that was meant to have a final 1.0 release in the fall or autumn. However, that's not going to happen anymore. So they've updated their roadmap. And the plan is that the final release will be sometime in winter of this year or spring of next year. So if you've been looking forward to that, it's not a huge delay. And obviously, as we've discussed many times on this podcast, delays of games are good because it leads to better games. So hopefully that'll come out at some point in the future. Also, there's a link to there's a longer post about the most recent update and the other future updates that will be coming out before the one release, and some other explanations on different things. So yeah, if you want to go read that, that will be in the show notes. The next delayed game is Harvest Moon One World, which I'm sure we're all very disappointed about. That was meant to come out this year. It now has a release date of March the 2nd in North America and March the 5th in Europe. So if you've been looking forward to that, you got to wait till next year, which I'm sure plenty of you are looking forward to that. The final delay that we have is Rune Factory 5, which we're all very surprised by, obviously, bearing in mind that this was the first information we got on Rune Factory 5 after the initial announcement over a year ago. So that has been officially delayed now till 2021. We don't have any more detailed information than that, but yeah, coming out next year. I think the Japanese website talks about it coming in the spring, and presumably it'll come out in English later than that. So I would presume Q2 of 2021, probably the autumn. We'll see. But yeah, those are the delays. It's not often we have multiple delayed games to talk about in one episode, but there we are. That's this one. The next section of news is a bit more positive, but a lot more positive. We've got some updates to games. The first one is there's going to be an Ooblets Halloween update, and that will be coming out in the first half of October. I think the current expectation is that was meant to come out by the end of September. However, the creators have had a baby, and anyone who's had a baby will know that you can't really understand how much work it is in the first few days of having a baby. And so they've not managed to finish that up. Completely expected. It's a lot of work. So their current plan is for that to be finished in October. I think they definitely want it out before Halloween, obviously, because it is a Halloween update. So look forward to that. So that brings with it a whole new region, which is exciting. So if you've played Ooblets, they have multiple areas within the island that you can play in. There's the hometown, and there are a few other areas, one of which is currently in the game. The and this will be the second of, I think, 4 other areas is what's currently listed in the game, but you can only go to 1 currently. So this will be the second. So that's very exciting. Presumably there'll be some other smaller stuff in the game that's updated, but I think that's the only real thing they've mentioned at this point in time. The region is Nullware. It's called. Looks nice and creepy. Apt for your Halloween update, obviously. The next update is, of course, the Animal Crossing Fall update, which obviously you will all already know about because it's so big. But this obviously adds in the Halloween event with Jack. Jack is back and will appear on Halloween in the evening. I think it was from 5 p.m. till midnight. There's lots of other things, including some new creepy skin tones, including my natural skin tone of deathly white. So all good for that, and some other things like hair colors and obviously some more creepy clothes and stuff like that. So that's all good. But the biggest thing why I really want to focus on just now is the pumpkins. You can grow pumpkins in Animal Crossing from, well, tomorrow, I think, which will be when the day that you're listening to this, or the day that this episode comes out. So if you've not updated it, go update it now. Go get some pumpkins, get pumpkin seeds, and you can grow them. So it looks like they work very much like flowers. You plant them, they grow a pumpkin. You pick the pumpkin, they'll regrow a pumpkin. I don't know whether that happens indefinitely like the flowers do, but it certainly happens multiple times. It is the first vegetable we have in the game. And yes, I'm counting it as a vegetable. Thank you. Which is exciting. So this was something that we've kind of alluded to previously, in that we knew that farming of some kind was coming in the game because there were hints left in the code that data miners found. And this is the first version of that. So hopefully there are other things coming and they're just bringing them later. We'll find out, I'm sure. So go download that update. I might actually play some Animal Crossing when the update's there. I need to decide where to put my farm because I had a big area that I had planned to use as a farm, which is currently all trees, but I was ready to cut them all down and plant some seeds. But I wasn't expecting there just to be one crop come out. So I'm not sure if I want to do that whole area of pumpkins. I feel like you need to have like a pumpkin patch. I don't really have an area that I had designed to be a pumpkin patch. It's not really the same as like a large field for growing lots of crops. I need to have a think. Maybe I'll start a new island. So because I like organizing all these news updates in this episode because there are so many of them, that was the updates section. The next section is about Kickstarters. So I've got 3 Kickstarters to talk to you about. The first one is One Lonely Planet, which by the time you listen to this will have been finished. I think it finishes like an hour after I'm recording this. That has hit its goal, and it has hit multiple of the stretch goals, including Xbox and PlayStation support. So if you liked the look of the game and you wanted to get it, but you only wanted to get it on Xbox or PlayStation, that is now unlocked. That will be happening. They had also said that if the Kickstarter had been successful, they would come to Switch. So that is obviously successful. So therefore, it will be coming to Switch. If you have chosen one of the rewards that gives you the digital game, you can choose PC, Mac, Linux, Switch, Xbox, or PlayStation, they say on their Kickstarter. So if you've been thinking about that and you've not done it, it's probably too late when you're hearing this, or it's almost certainly too late when you're hearing this. So there we go. I apologize. But I'm looking forward to One Lonely Outpost. I probably said One Lonely Planet before. I've just noticed I didn't mean that. It's One Lonely Outpost. I don't know why I said Lonely Planet. That's a different thing entirely. So that's One Lonely Outpost. For those who aren't aware, it's a farming game on Mars. So that's the idea. There are lots of other stretch goals, which I will have a link to the Kickstarter that you can go and see what was hit. Almost all of them, just not the last one that they had on their list. Although that might have been hit by the time I've finished recording. Who knows? The next one is Lonesome Village, which I think I've discussed before, but their Kickstarter has just launched as well. They describe their game as a cute, puzzle-filled life simulator. And I have seen it described elsewhere as a cross between Stardew Valley and Legends of Zelda. So if that sounds good to you, go back that one. It's pretty cheap for a copy of the game. I have backed that one as well because apparently I'm obsessed with backing farming game Kickstarters just now, and there are so many of them. I have multiple other that are upcoming, but this looks like a really good game. They have hit their target, and they've also hit multiple of their stretch goals, including being able to play instruments. So that's exciting. The next one is Sunhaven. This Kickstarter has only just launched, so it's got quite a way to go to hit its goal, but it is moving along at a good pace. It has had a decent amount in the first few hours of the Kickstarter. So the interesting thing about this one is that it's a multiplayer farming sim and fantasy RPG. So it's trying to combine a lot of elements together. Now it'll be interesting to see whether that works or not. I look forward to trying that. But yeah, this is another farming game, but it's a multiplayer one, which could be an interesting combination. They're coming out on PC and Mac and hope to come out on Switch and mobile as well, although they're not guaranteeing that at this point in time. Planning to release in May of 2021. So yeah, lots of Kickstarters if you like helping out some indie developers. The last couple of things I want to talk about in the news are new games that I've come across, and they are really interesting. So the first one is called Kitaria Fables. This is another RPG farming game, but I just looked at this and the art style of it is just gorgeous. I love the look of this game. It's got a really nice style. The houses and buildings look all really unique, but also really believable. It's got some windmills, that sort of stuff. It's a really good looking game. And it's got quite a big RPG combat style exploration part of it, which seems to be becoming quite a more common thing for these types of games, but it still has your standard calm farming. I've got a farm and I'm going to grow some crops type of thing. So yeah, that is planned to be released in 2021 on PC and consoles, although they don't say what consoles. Presumably we'll find out nearer the time. And the last game I want to talk about is called Petadachi. Petadachi? I don't know how it's meant to be said. This game, what to say about this game? This game is like an RPG Tamagotchi, right? So you have these cute pets, hence Petadachi, which are all like cubular, like cuboid, cube-like pets. And you feed them and you give them snacks and you like walk them and play with them and stuff. But it's on like in a world, you're walking around with it, you do other things like fishing with it and running around and stuff like that. So it just feels like a kind of larger type Tamagotchi type idea. And there are so many different pets. There's like dogs, cats in different styles, including a really grumpy cat, which is obviously exciting. And even things like penguins and stuff like that. So yeah, it's an adorable looking game. I really don't know how to describe it other than what I've done. You just need to go and watch the trailer that I'll link in the show notes. I need it. I think I need it. It's coming to Switch in 2021. I don't know if it's coming anywhere else. They don't say that at this point. It might be that it's Switch exclusive. It might be that it's timed Switch exclusive. We'll see. But I mean, I'm happy because I just want things on the Switch. So yeah, that's all of the upcoming games. All the news that I wanted to talk about. Apologies for this one being a really short episode. Things happen and sometimes we can't get someone else on the podcast. But I'll try and not do this very often. So I think that's everything I'll have for you today. Hopefully back with another in-depth episode in 2 weeks' time. And for those of you who listen to The Garage, I'm going to do a Garage episode on talking about my playthroughs of Mario, which might be interesting to some of you. So that will be out next week in our Patreon exclusive podcast. If you want to sign up to our Patreon, you can find that on our website, harvestseason.club. We have a link to our Patreon there. We'll also have a link in the show notes. It is patreon.com/thspod if you want to join us there. And THS Pod is also the name of our Twitter account. So we are twitter.com/THSpod. If you want to follow me personally on Twitter, I am at the ScottBot. Scott in that only has one T. If you want to follow Rochelle, our regular co-host, you can find her at Miss Delaney. You can find links to all of these in our show notes as well. And if you want to email, you can find that also on our website, which I mentioned before. So thank you all for listening. Apologies for the short podcast. We'll see you all in 2 weeks. Until next time, have a good harvest.
The Harvest Season is created by Rochelle Delaney and Al McKinley, with support from our pro farmer level patrons, Kevin and Stuart. Our art is done by Micah the Brave, and our music is done by Nick Burgess. Feel free to visit our website, harvestseason.club, for show notes and links to things we discussed in this episode. Thanks for listening.